besties, I look like shit and I feel it. I want to start reading this. I'm not doing a read with me because it's not the summer anymore and I don't do weekly read with me's. Maybe I should. I want to do a reading vlog for this book. I haven't done that on this channel before, so that'll be interesting. Hope you don't mind this little guy's head here. Much Ado About Nothing, Shakespeare play. I have been missing Shakespeare. Honestly, I haven't read Shakespeare in years. And I miss it. I want to read it. I think he's funny. Last night I watched a stage recording of this play, 2011 with David Tennant and Catherine Tate, I want to say. And I liked it. I really liked it. And upon watching it, I was immediately like, I want to read this. I want to read this right now. Guys, it was so good. It was so good. I don't know if that's like the best one or not. Probably not. I've only seen one. So I can't like recommend that one above any of the other ones. I watched a video by Lady Knight the Brave, I think, whose videos I really enjoy. I watched it like a year ago when it came out, but I also watched it again now because there's a video about Much Ado About Nothing. But yeah, I want to read this. I've missed reading scripts, I've missed theater, I've missed Shakespeare. So I'm gonna read this. I really like these. I've read one other Shakespeare play in this format, because they have like, oh, no one has read this before. Okay, in the contents, they have stuff, right? Books generally do have stuff and contents. But like, there's the thing on theater in Shakespeare's day that has like, shows you what the theaters looked like, sort of how theater works at the time, development of theater up until Shakespeare's time, his actors, how he worked with actors, I assume, the structure of the public theater, right? Like it goes, other resources of the Elizabethan theater, right? Like it goes into sort of how things work. There's a Shakespeare timeline, his work, along with other meaningful historical events, so that you can place them a bit, information about Shakespeare. Basically, this does a lot for you to have context. Money, it translates the money, which is good, because sometimes there is money in this. People do talk about money at least once. Well, it would be nice to know what it is, you know? How much money they're actually talking about. And there's an introduction here. I assume they're going to talk about the play. Then they go through the plot. Act 1, Scene 1. Scene 2, Scene 3. Act 2, Scene 1. And I think this is great. This book is set up in a way that you can get everything you need to do the play from the book, which I think is really wonderful. It's been a while since I've done theater. I only did like youth theater, so it's not like I'm a professional. Okay, Peter's gotta go now. Goodbye. The cat has left us. I only did youth theater, so it's not like I'm a professional, but going through sort of the acts, the scenes, the main storyline, the plot, going through the plot first, before reading the whole thing, just sort of like going through the main beats, so useful. What happens in each scene, like vaguely, you know, cut down a bit, is so valuable. Then there's a list of characters, also so valuable if you are putting on a play. This is so well done. I really like this, like, I want to call it a foreword. It's not a foreword, but I like the foreword here a lot. It's very well put together. And I haven't read it, obviously, so maybe it's, like, not well written. I don't know. I can't review a book I haven't read, but I really do like the sort of setup here. And then they go on to the actual play. And there's some words on the side for people who, for like, okay, in the start of it, it's, no, in the back, no. Where did it say something about the elixir? Yeah, okay. Prefatory note. It says that this Shakespeare play uses the full Alexander text, which I don't really know what means, but I assume it is the somewhat like the closest you can get to the original text. because by keeping in mind the fact that the language has changed considerably in 400 years, as have customs, jokes, and stage conventions, the editors have aimed at helping the modern reader, whether English is their mother tongue or not, to grasp the full significance of the play. The notes, intended primarily for examination candidates, are presented in a simple, direct style. The needs of those unfamiliar with British culture have been specially considered. So I think that's the stuff here on the side, because it has stuff like by this is by now, a league is 3 miles, action is minor battle. Just explaining a bunch of words. Watch Lady Night Braves video about to see more about anti-Semitism in Shakespeare, because it's actually everywhere, and I didn't know that because I have only read snippets, and I read Romeo and Juliet when I was like 12. I'm gonna read this. This is a reading vlog. This is the introduction, and I've been talking for 10 minutes. Oopsie. I'm excited to read it. It's funny. Maybe I'll give you thoughts per act. Maybe that sounds good. I kind of want tabs and those like see-through post-its so that I could annotate, but it's not my book, so also I don't have those things. Maybe I'll buy it if I manage to read. Yeah, you know what, let's say that. I put my reading goal as 3 books this year. If I read more than 3 books this year, I will give myself a gift, a present, a reward, and that reward will be buying see-through post-it notes and tabs so that I can annotate my books. Yes. Okay, that's it. Today is September 7th, 2023. Let's hope I read this book before the end of the year. Hi. I'm almost done. Okay, not really, but like I'm probably gonna finish it in one sitting now. I read the first 18 pages last night. Yes. And then today I read the rest of it, and I just had finished eating it, but this had apples on it, like apple boats, because I cannot eat an apple for the life of me, and I had to take a break because I was getting too emotional at Act 4, Scene 1. It's too much for me. I already know what's gonna happen. I've seen the play, but reading it was different. I think my read interpretation of it is different than the interpretation in the production of the play that I saw. And like I want to glue that scene to the back of my eyelids. I want to, I don't know, I want to just have that scene available at all times. I'm thinking maybe I should get a notebook and just like print out my favorite scenes from different books or scripts and whatnot, and like glue them into the notebooks so that I have that notebook just like whenever I want to like essentially see my favorite movie, but like only my favorite scene. I had to take a break. I had to sit down and like do something else because I was like crying. I read it twice. Well, not the entire scene, but like I read the bit with Beatrice and Benedict twice because it was getting to me. And I feel kind of ridiculous. Also, do you like my bookmark? It's my stickers. My stickers. I don't think a book has ever made me cry before. Like, in fairness, I haven't been like a reader since I was 12. So, like, I don't know how many crying books 12-year-olds read, but like this one, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew approximately what they were gonna say. Why is it getting to me? Hero's Pleading is also a lot more painful to read somehow, and Anato, his anger and disdain is a lot more painful this way. But oh my god, this scene was beautiful. I like the way it was done in the production that I saw. It was funny, and this is a comedy. This is one of Shakespeare's comedies. So I do appreciate them playing it funny, but oh god, the lines are so devastating. They're so... There's so much emotion, and they're brutal. Truly brutal. I haven't cried over a book before. I don't love this cover, by the way. Like, I don't like it. The photo's from istockphoto.com. I've wanted to annotate this book, but it's not mine, it's my mom's. So I might have to, like, get a copy that I can annotate. Because, oh my god, there's a line in it that feels like, I'm just, like, gonna review so far for you now. But there's a line in it that, reminds me of how we talk about brain cells now. You know how, like, oh, I have 2 brain cells, but I lost 1, or, like, I have 3, or, you know, that kind of thing. Like, oh, I have 2 brain cells, you have none, you can have 1 of mine. Like, the way we talk about sort of energy, or, like, intellectual effort to, as this, like, quantifiable thing, usually in rather low numbers. So there's this line in, I don't remember where it is, like, I don't know what act it is or whatever, but I sent it to my friend. Oh, it's the 60th reference thing. Right, they have, like, there's, like, reference numbers here on the side, and then in here they explain words and phrases. Beatrice says, while talking about Benedict and his wits, alas, he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off, and now is the whole man governed with 1. Last time we discussed something, he had 5 brain cells. Now he only has 1. Like, it felt so, I don't know, it's the brain cell talk, right? Like, while brains being somewhat quantifiable isn't necessarily a new concept, brain cells has, like, been, I don't know, quantifiable brain cells as a means of ability in the moment has sort of been a thing for, what, like 4 years now? 3, 4? Vague. In, like, public common language among the young people. And it's so cool to see that language was used the same way at the time, just with different words. Like, this concept of, like, oh, you have, like, 5 brain. I was 4. Have, like, 5 brain, or 5 wits, or 5 brain cells, and you can lose them, and perhaps gain them back. That concept went in and out. Like, I know concepts and theories and whatnot go in and out of public consciousness all the time. I know that that's sort of how language works. That's how, like, a lot of human culture and art and stuff works. But it's so cool to see, because, like, brain cells still feels new. Like, it's not a completely dated thing of, like, internet slang or whatever. It's still new to me, even though it's been a couple years. Maybe that ages me. It's so cool. I'm so excited about it. I've told 2 friends about this line that reminds me of how we talk about brain cells, and I'm still very excited about it. Dogberry does still drag on in reading it. I don't know if it's less or more than seeing it. I think I find it more enjoyable to hear someone misuse words. Because one of the things about Dogberry, right, is he says the wrong words a lot of the time. Okay, let me find a scene. Like, he's a night guard, he's a cop, you know, and he goes to, like, his lord or whatever, and he says that they comprehended a man last night, to which he means apprehended, and things like that. He says a lot of things like that where, like, he just mixes up words. And I think that was a lot funnier to watch than to read, because when there's a word that doesn't feel like it fits the sentence, I just keep rereading the sentence, because surely I have misread something. So I think Dogberry is more fun to watch, but also it doesn't feel as slow when you read it. Maybe that's because I give it a little bit. I don't find them very interesting. They're important for the story. They are necessary. And the fact that they drag on and sort of just babble for a bit is also important. But it's I don't care about them. They're not like developed characters. They are sort of just plot devices, and I don't think I would want them to spend more time developing them, because I don't care. But also, I just don't care. Act 4 Scene 1! Because, like... No, if I reread it, I will cry again. I'm not doing it. I want to, but I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Nope. I need to comb my hair. I want to comb my hair so bad, dude. I want to change it up. The vibes. Can you hear that car? Love living close to the road. Did I have anything else I was going to share with you? No. I thought this was going to be like a long reading book. Like I would have like different clips of me reading throughout the week, the month, the blah blah blah. It's been 2 days. Barely been 24 hours. Barely. Am I becoming a reading girly? Like I know I already have book videos on my channel, and like you can make an argument for me joining BookTube, but like, am I becoming a reading person? A bookish person? A reader? Is that what I'm becoming? I feel like I can't say that I'm becoming a book person because I've been reading a script. And the script also barely has stage direction. It really only has enter and exit. Each scene starts with a little thing here, sort of talking about the scene's significance and its purpose in the play. Maybe that's why I've been able to get through this so fast, because it feels easier to read than a book. I haven't read a book and finished it since I was 12, probably. But I have finished a couple scripts since then, because I did theater from like age 12, maybe. I did like youth theater in my early teens, and then I had to stop when I got to 17, 18-ish, because I didn't have time outside of school. And maybe that's why this is easier. It feels lighter. It's not, I don't know. It feels less stressful, and maybe that's because I'm getting better, and like healing and reading isn't as hard as it was before. Like I did read some of that book about Sappho, which you can watch in the. But this, I'm just eating this up. It could also be sort of like Autism Go Burr about Shakespeare, because in theater and stuff, because I wanted to play The Sims today, and I started the game, and I tried to play it, and after like 10 minutes I was like, I want to read what to do. And while I was like, okay, but I can read later. I finished an act today, and I told myself maybe like 1 act a day or something. I can go for that. And I tried to continue playing, and I couldn't, because all I could think about is what to do. I was supposed to edit a 100 baby video today. All I want to do is read what to do. We had a family birthday thing today. Did that. I got dressed. Spoke to family members. I read Much Ado in the living room while waiting for people to come over. I read Much Ado before they came. I read Much Ado after. And I watched some YouTube. I ate dinner. I tried to do something else, and it didn't work, and now I really want to do again. And then I've only taken a break because I got so emotionally it was so much that I couldn't like put my feelings down and move on to the next scene. And this has never happened to me with a book before. I've had to pause movies before because they were too much, and just I had to like cry so that my eyes were clear so I could actually see what's going on. And one thing, actually, I'm gonna put this on the internet. Am I gonna say this out loud? If I post this in a while, no one can know who. I don't think they follow me. I have currently a crush on one of my friends, and I don't want to. It's really impractical for our dynamic, so I would like it to go away. But the last couple days, last week or so, I have not been able to stop thinking about this person at all. Like, I've had trouble sleeping. Like, one day I was up until 9 a.m. because I was busy thinking. Oh, it's embarrassing. But it's not really embarrassing. Normal human experience. What gets me is I thought this shit calmed down when you became an adult, and I'm 22. But this has made me take my mind off. The one thing that has been, as I've been, like, talking to my friends and being, like, actively in a task that, like, needs to be, even actively in a task I've been thinking about. But, like, this has worked. Only this. And I don't know why. Like, there's an argument to be made that I can trace associations back to them through this, but also, I'm not thinking about them while I'm reading it. So I don't think so. So this is the thing freeing my mind. I can text them a normal amount in a day now, and not be weird. I can be weird about this instead. I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm just thinking about how pretty they are. Am I gonna put that on the internet? I've been reading it out loud, which is new for me. I think it might be because it's a script, and I'm used to reading scripts aloud. Right? For a table read, you don't read all the parts, but you read aloud. And for practicing your lines, you read aloud, and you, at least for me, what I've done when practicing scripts, is like, I'll sit down in front of a mirror, I'll read my lines, and I'll try to not read them. Once I've read them a couple times, I try to, like, okay, we're on this scene, and then I try to, like, look at myself in the mirror, and I say the lines. And even if I need to read it, I will read it, and I will try to look off the page as often as I can to look at the mirror and do the face stuff, right? And then, like, later on in the memorizing process, you just drop the script. You just drop the script completely, and you just do the lines in the mirror and make sure that your face is correct. Because honestly, having the script next to you while you practice does make it harder to remember, because you can check. And knowing that you can check makes you feel like you have to check, and then you don't remember your lines. Obviously you would also be practicing with people outside of this, but, like, when you're just practicing alone, that's how I used to do it. And so I catch myself, like, reading and, like, reading it aloud, and then for the last, like, 3 words going up, looking up, and, like, looking at someone who isn't there in front of me to sort of communicate. I think I've made little voices for some of the characters accidentally, and it messes with my accent here and there, and I've gone through a couple different accents for each character throughout this. Not that each character has their own accent. I mean that I have swapped as I read. I think that also might be part of why I started, like, crying at Act 4, Scene 1, because a lot of people are sad in Act 4, Scene 1. It's a very emotionally charged scene, and if I'm reading all of the lines out loud, I'm just such a natural actor. I really love this. I really love this. I think I need to get one to annotate. Maybe there's a used bookstore somewhere. I finished it, and I put it back in the bookshelf, so I can't show you. But I finished it. I skipped the, at the end of it, there's, like, a theme thing, like, where, like, the different themes of the story appear and, like, which scenes. I just read, like, the different themes that there were. I didn't actually read, like, oh, in scene blah blah blah, this theme is because blah blah blah, because it was like a point list. Oh. And that's not really what I signed up for. Sorry, my cat is right here. So I'm just giving him attention. I really liked it. It has really just, like, eaten my brain for 3 days. And I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna rewatch the 2011 production with David Tennant and Catherine Tate now. I feel like I said most of my thoughts yesterday. I only had, like, 1 act left. This book has truly just like dragged me back. Well, may have. This book might be the what to drag me back to like reading like actively. And that makes me happy. So yeah, I've been listening to this, I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but I've been listening to this Spotify playlist. This playlist by Fruitcake, which I will link below. I've also made my own playlist of just the songs that I like actually listen to, because I skipped a couple of these songs because they weren't the right vibe, just like in the moment while I was reading. And that playlist, I also, when listening on my phone, I did end up with like the Spotify like radio or suggested function. So my little reading playlist is now, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes long, which is, I don't think, enough to read the entire book. Make a playlist for it called Much Ado or something, and leave that below as well, so that if you want, you can listen to the playlist I listen to, or you can listen to my Much Ado playlist, which doesn't actually have anything to do with Much Ado. It's just the songs that I listen to on shuffle that fit the vibe while I was reading. If I manage to keep this going, maybe the next couple of weeks will just be like me watching a Shakespeare play a week and reading it and then talking about it. He's here too. Say hello and say goodbye. He looks kind of grumpy. He's a little bit grumpy, but he's mostly just an old man. Thanks for hanging out, and listening to me talk about books and plays and stuff. Let me know if you have any recommendations for things I should read. I will leave my Goodreads and my Storygraph below. I'm leaving a lot of things below today. I don't know when I'm posting this. Sorry I didn't post for a month.